Steve Patel says, Scotty, I got a 2015 Honda Accord Sport. Burns a lot of oil. Do I keep pouring the oil or selling it? Honda doesn't do anything. Yeah, Honda's kind of a stinker on those things. You know, the market today is so high. If you don't want to do an individual discourtesy, go to CarMax, Carvana, all those places. They buy anything now. See what they offer you for the car. And if they offer you good money, sell it. Get something else. If not, oil's cheap. Keep adding it and driving it. Generally, they still run quite some time. They can go years burning oil. Their Honda makes good engines, but they just kind of screwed up on that, especially if you get that 1.5 liter one. A lot of them do burn oil because they didn't build them correctly. Next question. JJ says, Scotty, got a 2012 Scion. IQ, 112,000 miles, burns a lot of oils. Anything I can do is a goner. Well, change the PCV valve, and if that fixes it, great. Thank me for fixing it for, $5, right? But a lot of those four bangers, they do burn oil, and it was because they didn't make the piston rings right. And if Toyota won't do anything about it, then you can just keep adding oil. I see a lot of them here in Clarksville. They're still driving them. My grandson's got a Camry that my son gave to him that he bought, and it's been the heck beat out of it, and it's got that 2.5 liter four-cylinder engine, burns oil like crazy. He keeps adding oil, he keeps driving it, goes to Iowa and back, and still runs. So what the heck? Especially here in Clarksville, because Tennessee's getting rid of almost all the emissions testing, so you don't care about the emissions because nobody tests them. So in that case, you wouldn't care. If it started to clog up the catalytic converter, people here would just take it off and leave it off. But if you live in an area where they do emissions testing and you can't pass, then you definitely want to get rid of that Honda sooner than later. Next question. Thomas Gerald said, how much snow did Clarksville get? Quite a bit. It was about this deep. And I made a video yesterday in the snow. It was fun. People were sliding. There was like 150 wrecks the first day because it's further south enough that a lot of people don't know how to drive, and there's a lot of soldiers around here that drive crazy, and then they went out, of course, being crazy in their Camaros. Ooh, look, I can zoom all over and do donuts. Oh, my God, I'm in the ditch. I know guys at tow trucks, they made a lot of money pulling people out of ditches that were screwing around driving too fast. I went out in the Matrix. It's just front-wheel driving. You don't even have snow tires. And it would slide a little on the ice, but I drove carefully to the Kroger's and back and didn't have any problems. It's starting to melt now, so it won't last long. But people out there, when there's snow and ice, you got to go slower because there's a thing called black ice. You don't see it. The road's black. So the ice is clear. It looks like it's a clean road, but no, it's ice, and you're going to kill yourself on it. So go slow. Next question. Ed Doctor says, my 2018 RAV4 is Yokohama tires. They're good quality tires? What are good brands? Bad ones. Okay. Well, Yokohamas are generally great tires. You want to just make sure that the Yokohamas that are made in Japan, they're the best ones. I believe they have factories all over the world, and I would want the Japanese ones myself. Now, most of the tires made in the United States, like Cooper and Goodyear, if they are, the ones you buy says made in USA, they're generally quite well-made tires. There's no problems with them. Now, there's Korean tire manufacturers, and there's one like 5 miles from here, and they're making them in Clarksville. And those are good tires, too. It just depends on where they're made and if the companies have quality to them. I stay away from the cheaply made Chinese ones, the ones that come from the Philippines and stuff like that. I just don't like them because I don't think they have the quality control that these other companies do. And, of course, Michelin makes good tires all over the world. I got 4 Michelins and my wife's Lexus. They great tires, never have any problems with them. Lots of good brands, but you don't want to buy ones that are, oddball names. You see some name, Good Tire or whatever, and it's made in China or the Philippines. I'd stay away from them. Next question. Peter Kane says, Scotty, my father and I listen to your channel. I got a question. Do you know what's the most reliable American car brand? All right. Today, I'd have to say Ford, but they don't make cars much. They only make a Mustang. Everything else are SUVs. and pickup trucks, and that's what people, are going for. The American car manufacturers basically realized they could not compete with Toyota and Honda in cars. They made such better cars that they just gave up, and they don't make many cars anymore. They make SUVs and pickup trucks. But even then, as far as I'm concerned, the Japanese do a better job making them too. That's just the nature of the beast. But if you want to buy an American car, I'd say Ford is the best of what's out there. And they just passed GM in evaluation because they've been making some better ones than Ford. So that's what I'd say, Ford, if you want to buy supposedly American. But then again, I mean, I did a thing on a new F-150. It said 45% of the parts made in the United States and Canada. And then, 25% here, and then 17% others. So the parts come from all over the world. They're not as American as you might think. Read the sticker. Next question. Stop that. It's going wild. You think it's going wild on your phone? You should see it's going wild on my computer, too. Colin says, Scotty, what are your thoughts on oil-based rust protection? It's a company called Crown Spray in my car, and I'm not sure if I should wash the bottom now. I live in Canada and roads are salty. Well, you still want to rinse the bottom, but oil-based ones are good if you start with a solid base. On the other hand, let's say you got a little clunker, it's all rusted, the frame's got Swiss cheese holes all over the place. It's too late. You just spray it on and the rust will continue rusting from the inside out and it won't help anything. But if you got a reasonably solid vehicle, you can have somebody either sandblast or wire brush off everything and then add the preservative oil-based spray and let it harden, and they do work quite well. You just have to realize if it's already rusted, it's too late and there's nothing you can do. And then on the other hand, well-made cars, they don't need any extra. Take later model Toyotas. They have zinc-based primer that's electrostatically put in a pond. Positive, negative electricity even goes inside the frame, and they don't rust anymore because they are made right at the factory and they don't need any extra stuff on them. So it depends on the vehicle you have. But yes, it does work as long as the base is solid. If it's not, you're wasting your time. You can still rinse it now. They put it on right, you just rinse it off. Salt can insidious and get little tiny cracks and then start eating, and then it's too late. Next question. James South says, Scotty, do you like Marvel Mystery Oil? Well, Marvel Mystery Oil is an excellent concoction. Comes in bottles, and it is a penetrating oil. I've used it for ages. Now, back in the day, before we had catalytic converters and all that crap, we'd actually pour it right in the carburetors, rev up the engine. It would clean things out. Can't do that now. It'd ruin the oxygen sensors, ruin the catalytic converters, cause problems. But it's still a great penetrating oil. Let's say you got an old engine. If it's a car engine, it's locked up, or a lawnmower engine, you take the spark plugs out. You pour some Marvel Mystery Oil and let it soak for 2 or 3 days. And it will often get in and free the piston ring so then it'll move again. And it's very good if you've got rusty old nuts and bolts. Pour it all over the place or put it in a spray bottle. Spray it all on. Let it sit for 2 or 3 days. It's an excellent penetrating oil. It is great stuff. You can't pour it in a gas tank in the engine like you used to because of all the anti-pollution stuff. But it's still a great penetrating oil. Really works on metal. Eli Varney says, Scotty, what's the best made Subaru engine? I'm looking at getting a Forester. Okay. You want to buy any of the last 10, 15 years, 4-cylinder Subaru engines. Do not buy their 6-cylinder boxers. They have always had problems with those. The springs go bad. They make noises. They don't hold up. They just aren't there. I don't know, they've been building a while, but they never really made them down. Where the 4-cylinder one started out as little bitty puddle jumpers like a Volkswagen Beetle that they kind of copied with the 4-cylinder boxer engines, only they were water-cooled instead of air-cooled, which is a better design. Then they had head gasket problems with those, but they haven't had that for ages. It's the 4-cylinder engines they make that are the strong ones now. Don't buy a 6-cylinder Subaru engine or you'll regret it because they just are very expensive to work on. They don't hold up over time. I've had too many customers have problems with them. Well, that's it for today. I realize every day of the week I upload 2 videos on the Scotty Kilmer channel, so subscribe and hit the notification bell so they'll notify you. And I'm here every Saturday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time on YouTube Live, answering your questions free and honestly. And also Thursdays at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Central Standard Time. I'm on YouTube Live, so I'll catch you then.